Hey, what's up, Zach?
Mark, what's going on, dude?
Well, I'm at home watching a movie with the kids, you know, a little relaxing night in with all my offspring.
Hell yeah, dude. What are you guys watching?
Some kid movie. Just something they watch. Yeah.
So what the hell's going on in the world of Scour, man? This shit, dude. We just got done blasting Invoke, and I gotta tell you, man, that is insane, dude. Like, what the hell, man?
But yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, Derek kind of writes all the hits, and that was one of them, and that was one of our favorites. We thought we were considering that to be like one of the video singles, but
yeah,
we just I don't know. Just it's up to Phil, so he picked the singles. And that's what we do. He's the guy in the band that is a platinum selling artist, so we leave that there.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good jam for sure. It's got the dead giveaway, if you will, in there. The one you want to hear on a black metal record, you know?
Yeah, dude. That fucking like whole crowd chant thing where you guys, oh man.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody. Go listen to that if you haven't listened to it yet.
No, they just heard it, man. They just heard it blasting loud.
Love it. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool record, man. It turned out really well. It's been a long time coming, actually. We were down there recording in February of 23. We went down there. But, you know, it's like with everybody's schedule, especially like with Phil doing the Pantera stuff, just took him a minute to get to it, you know?
Yeah.
Writing the lyrics. I mean, if you go through the lyrics of the album, they're very well done. There's no slouchy shit anywhere. So, not that you expected anything less, you know, but, yeah, he took his time on it, and, you know, and that's kind of how he rolls, man. He puts in concentrated effort and gives everything the respect, and, you know, kind of like does it in phases. He's like, he'll work on Pantera during this block of time, he'll work on Down during this block of time, he'll work on Scour during this block of time. So it's always it's not like darting around or anything. He's always like doing a concentrated effort on things, and you know, I think you can tell.
Oh yeah.
Needless to say,
long time fan, dude. Fucking, I've been following everything, you know, Pantera related, all the side projects, everything, man, since fucking day one, dude.
Yeah. I think he's been trying to get a black metal thing going for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, given like, you know, Scour's been around for, you know, 10 years at this point. So like, you know, we're kind of the thing. We've been a thing for almost a decade. You know, but it's been, you know, like I said, it's like here, there, and in between. You know, he like has dedicated time for it. So it's not like we've been this crazy touring active band for 10 years. It's, you know, it's a side project. So across like 3 EPs, and now it's like the first full length album. So it's at a nice long incubation period, you know. But yeah, it's like prior to that, you know, he'd been trying to get it seemed like he was trying to get a black metal thing going for quite some time, you know, with like Eibon and Viking Crown. And,
I was just about to mention those two bands. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought whenever Scour first started. When I first heard the first EP, I was like, wow, this is like, it's like he took what he was trying to do with Eibon and Viking Crown and sort of made it like an official thing. But it's of course its own thing, but it definitely had that vibe to it, you know.
Sure, it's him, you know. I mean, Derek wrote these songs that he's got his own kind of, you know, method, where it's like a minimalist thing, and you know, the first, I think it's not all of them are like this, but you know, some of the, like, we'll call them like quintessential songs, like on the Red EP, like the title track Red, you know, it's like he basically got like, it's centered around this, you know, this theme up top, and then that theme migrates to the rhythm track, and then, you know, when the theme's up top, the rhythm track simplifies, you know, and then there's maybe like one other thing that happens in the whole song, you know, and that's sort of like That's the method. And so, but you get into a song like one of the very first songs, like Tear Gas or something, and it's got a little bit more variety. So the like goal just kind of like works on all those in maybe like a more mature sort of way.
Yeah.
But it's always been kind of like this minimalist sort of thing going on. And I always appreciate that. I mean, you're like trim picking for an hour, but it's quite challenging. Adam's back there blasting his face off because, when you're doing those songs, it's just like you're sitting you're just trimming a chord, 2 or 3 chords, just like, look at your watch, it just keeps going and going. And, it's like, it's the endurance thing for effect, and we pull it off, man. Not everybody can do that stuff, got to eat your Wheaties.
Yeah, for sure, man. You were mentioning the lyrics earlier, and that was making me think. Like, I was watching that documentary that you guys posted, which was really cool, by the way. And
Thanks.
You guys were talking about Phil having like a book of lyrics or something that he sort of pulls from that are. Yeah.
He's got a dedicated Scour notebook.
Oh yeah.
And that's where he puts the weird shit.
Have you ever seen that book?
Yeah.
Pretty wild shit.
Yes, I mean it's just a notebook. It's something. It's not like it's glowing or it speaks or anything. Yeah, it's just a notebook with some notes in it. He's a scholar of horror literature and strange fiction. It's not something that he's got in the public. He's got like the tough guy kind of like persona and stuff. It's not something you would associate with like a literary scholar, but yeah, man, he is that actually. He's deeply well read, and this album, the lyrics like draw upon a lot of that body of work. Like with Infestorium is like it's a direct. That's the one that's like a direct reference to that tale in particular. But there'll be other literary tropes and references that he uses throughout the album. I think he's done that on another album or on the EPs too, but maybe lesser so. It was more of like an abstraction on those. And on this one, there's still that old approach on some songs, but on this one, he moves past that to like painting a picture. It's not it's not exactly like a story where like Peggy Sue met Bobby Joe and then they ran down a hill together or something. It's like it's more like a like describing a scene, and the scene itself is supposed to have an effect, like you're watching a movie or something. Yeah, which is really cool. Invoke has that. You have whatever these beings are having this like ritual, and you can see it. It's more than than being described. It's like it's more than the events being described. It's like it's a visual thing, and then that visual is supposed to have an effect. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty deep. It's not. Go out and just pick metal record A out of a hat and tell me what those lyrics have to say, and I guarantee it's 1,000 times lesser than that, and probably at a 7th grade reading level. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's pretty special what he's doing.
Yeah, I can definitely see it when I'm listening to it, man. I can definitely picture in my mind like.
Yeah, it's cool.
Some cool shit.
It's definitely cool. In the past, it's been more like abstract, like sort of hinting in that direction. But this one's got like, instead of like these abstract phrases that are supposed to pull on you and strike your imagination, this one's got like whole scenes that are tied together, but maybe not necessarily in a story format. I mean, you go look at the lyrics in the book, and it's like, 4 or 5 words, ... They're like, it's definitely intended to be slightly open-ended,
Yeah.
Literally. Anyway, I think it's cool.
Very cool, man. Yeah, I mean, the EPs and everything were really cool too, but this album definitely takes it to a whole nother level, man. There's just something about it, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, when you listen to it from front to end, it feels like it takes you through a whole little story or something. I don't know. It's just,
yeah. I mean, it's like how albums are supposed to be.
Exactly.
It's supposed to take you through like a little journey from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with the interludes and stuff. And actually, Philip came up with those along with John Jarvis too. Like they wrote those. And he's got a piano in his house, and so when you hear those like piano bits in there, that's the piano that's sitting in his living room.
I love that. I love that shit, dude.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Like, and they're well conceived, and they fit the album well with the flow and everything. I really like how Angel sounds. Like it reminds me of Tolkien's Silmarillion. It kind of paints that picture in my head. I don't know if you ever read that one, but that's a slightly lesser known Tolkien. You know, now my literary nerds coming out. But just a tunnel of beings of light kind of thing, where you have all those violins and violas and shit, and they're screeching and howling together, and suffering.
Now, with this record, was this the first time you guys all went into the studio together and recorded it?
No, it's been the same every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, of course, I wasn't there for the first two EPs, I jumped in after, Red was out, and but I was around for the Black EP, especially for the mixing and stuff.
What's the transition like for you going from what you do in Misery Index to this?
Guitar technical point of view, it's a different skill set for sure. Misery Index is a lot of start stop, like really precise, like a lot of palm muting, a lot of chugging, a lot of tight stops, a lot of single note trim on lower notes, a lot of like matching the double bass, a lot of like precision stuff, a lot of fast, more grindy stuff where you're string skipping and busier, and of course I'm like singing a lot, so it's coordinating those things. The Scour is more like an endurance contest, and then there's the lead guitar aspect. So it's trim picking for an hour and being able to do that, and then it's the having the chops for the lead guitar stuff, which when I joined, I'll admit I didn't really have. Like I was more of like a Hammett, I was more like a Hetfield than a Hammett, But like anything else, it's not like I couldn't do it. I had some ability at that time, but you're just putting one note after the other and then speeding it up, and then running your scales and getting a little more, back into the swing of running scales and patterns and your modes and stuff like that, and putting all that stuff just from when you first learn the guitar back in your mind, but actually like dedicating more time to it and getting more adept. And so yeah, I've grown it forced me to grow as a player, and and you can hear that on Infestorium, that solo, and it's got all the stuff, all the stuff you want to hear.
Yeah. So all the leads and solos and stuff on this record, that's you?
I only have one solo on this album. And that's on Infusorium.
Oh shit. Well, I was gonna say, man, when I'm listening to the record, I couldn't tell like who's doing what, but honestly, like when I was listening to it on this record, it definitely seemed like some of the solos and the leads were a lot more melodic than in the past, and it was really cool, like to hear that. I felt like it gave it a cool dynamic, as opposed to the really harsh black metal feel that's going on, and then it like pulls away and it gives you this melodic fucking death metal style.
Man. Yeah, I had definitely had a good share of input in the songwriting process. Derek and I were he's basically would, you know, in the past he would write all that shit in ink in like a vacuum, you know. You know, his own little incubator. This time around, it was way more collaborative, you know, where he's running stuff by me and John. And I think that was the order, to be like me, John, Phil, and then Adam. I think, you know, and you just keep running it by us in that way, and like everyone putting in their kind of input.
Oh, yeah. Well, for all the gearheads out there, man, myself included, dude, can you give us a rundown of some of the stuff you guys were using in your rigs?
For the guitar tracks?
Yeah.
We actually did those when we recorded. We took DIs, and what we were recording, we captured an old '90s Ampeg VH140C, going through EVH 51 and 53 50 watt power section into a Mesa cab.
Nice.
Like an oversized Mesa cab, and then we'd switch the preamps. We might have switched the power amps too. I think there was a dual rec involved. Weirdly, we like the dual rec power section with the EVH pre. And then after that, we had the DIs, so Derek wasn't quite getting what he wanted out of the capture, so took the DIs, did a reamp job with Steve Brockton and Newcomb. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. He's Gary Holt's guitar tech. He lives out in California. And they used, what the hell did they incorporated some other stuff too. I think an angle might have been involved. You have to ask Derek. I wasn't there for that reamp bit. What
about pedals? Were you guys boosting anything or anything like that, or just?
I think they were using, you know, your standard tube screamer on the reamp side, but on the original tracking side, it was just straight into the amp.
Hell yeah.
No boost, no noise suppression either.
Fuck, man, shit sounds fucking badass, dude.
Thanks.
It does, man.
It does. Turned out well, man. Our boy Dennis Israel did a bang up job getting all the copping the takes and getting everything nice and mixing everything just right, getting the vocals sound the way they needed to, and Jens Bagren did the mastering on it at Fascination Street, and it's like a good balance of pristine and modern and raw and aggressive, because we didn't really want to go 1,000% in either direction. You know, we're not trying to do this lo-fi black metal thing. You know, it's just, it doesn't suit us, especially having the Pantera guy, you know, who's, you know, they kind of revolutionized the way metal sounds these days. You know what I mean? They did. They're Far Beyond Driven album, and, you know, mostly the Far Beyond Driven album is like the catalyst for all modern metal production. Just is.
It is. 100%, dude.
Yeah. Ask anybody. And so when you got that voice, you can't go super lo-fi, but you also can't go super hi-fi because it's black metal. You know, you got to have like some kind of balance of that raw aggression. But we at least wanted like the stereo field to be good and wide, and we wanted Phil to be up in your face, you know, like very vocal forward. First mixes we got were like he was like kind of in the background, very black metal-y, you know. Vocal was kind of buried back there, going, yeah, you know. We were like, nope. I need to hear like every bit of that tonal range coming out of that guy, because that's what people were looking for. Especially on like the spoken word parts too, you know.
Yeah,
they remember that from Great Southern Trendkill, and we want to. And if he's doing it, we want to give him that, you know.
It is, man. You know, speaking from a fan's perspective, it is exactly what we wanted, dude. Like, and I think I can speak for everybody, because I've been seeing a lot of other people that agree. that everybody's saying, like, you know, his fucking vocals sound fucking amazing on this, dude. Like,
well, I can tell you that we all, in the mixing process, we all took maybe more care than even he wanted us to. like I think he was good with it, like, you know, 3 or 4 mixes back, you know what I mean? But we were like, as fans, and like having been so accustomed to those, you know, Pantera records, you know, it's like we almost have to hear it in a certain way or it's not good. You know, so this was the chance to get it that way, and I think we did. I think we got it, man. I mean, I feel like it sounds and feels right.
Yeah, it does, man. It definitely does, dude. Speaking of, well, actually, before that, I gotta say, you mentioned Gary Holt, and he's playing on the next track that I'm going to be playing after the interview, Coin.
Yeah.
That's the single that's out right now.
Yeah, we had some. Gave him the old invite, and he accepted, and threw that solo on there. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah!
I dig it. It's melodic now.
How do you say no to that shit, though? I mean, you know, what the fuck? That's badass, though, man. That's when I saw that, I was like,
cool, Gary to throw down on it, and that was just a thing. Like, we got a solo spot, you know. I mean, I could have just taken it, but we were like, it was like literally the only other solo spot on the record. You know, we're just like, well, you know, we should probably get somebody, you know, because we can't have. If we wanted a guest, it's the very first full length album. We wanted some kind of guest, and we can't have a vocal guest. We already have Phil Anselmo. No one else is infringing upon that except for the guys in the band. And that's sort of his rule as well. So it's kind of like the lead guitar that's the only real spot. So he was the one that made the most sense, and luckily he said yes. So.
And also, I wanted to ask you. I know I've seen some older live footage of Scour where they were playing. I think Strength Beyond Strength.
Yep, we sure did.
Have you done that with them yet?
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. We did some other stuff too. We did like a little bit of 25 Years. Strength Beyond Strength. Slaughtered. We played that.
Yeah.
We did something else too. Not like a full song. Not remembering all the way, but yeah, we did all that stuff. We played that like Roskilde, and we had to stop doing that because you know, the Pantera stuff was starting to happen. You know.
Yeah. Well,
first it was the Illegals. They were doing like the Pantera tribute sets. We had to like kind of like we were still kind of allowed to do it, although Phil's kind of like, I don't know, the Illegals are doing it. You know, they're doing the whole Pantera set, but you know, we'd end up doing it anyway. But like when the Pantera for real started coming out, like when those plans started being made, it was like, hey man, we can't. You know, I believe the words were, we can't do this anymore, and furthermore, this thing is going to have to start standing on its own 2 legs, like not relying on the Pantera stuff.
Right, of course, man.
You know, and I think we've just about transitioned, man. Like, you know, because that stuff can take over the band. You know, like you saw what kind of like with the Illegals, it took it over.
Yeah.
Started doing a little bit of it, and then it was like that's all anyone wanted to hear. So, and of course, like every time I say this, John Jarvis, like, you know, he's bummed because he wants to play Pantera songs, the big guy, as we all do. Mm-hmm. But really, like from an integrity point of view, it's honestly a better move to not.
Yeah.
And for Scour to be its own thing, playing its own songs. You know, the coattails needed to stop at Phil Anselmo being in the band, you know, and the rest needs to be like our internal strength as a group.
Well, I gotta ask you, man, like from a fan's perspective, what's it like going out there and playing some of those songs when you were doing it, you know, some of those Pantera songs, dude, playing playing Dime's fucking riffs and shit, man. Did you get goosebumps and shit when you're
unreal?
I can imagine, dude.
Unreal, dude.
God, man, rest in peace, man. Fucking miss him so much, dude. Did you ever see Pantera back in the day?
Every time they came through.
God damn, dude, they were insane, sure man. Did. What the fuck?
Sure did. Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned that in the documentary. Like, Pantera was my introduction to metal. Like, just out of 12 years old.
Yeah.
I went to see him. I went to go see him live, and it was like 3 bonfires in the lawn, and people ripping the seats out of the orchestra pit, and like pits going around these bonfires. It's like, so you can imagine, like, fresh out of 12 years old, and that's my introduction to metal. I was just like, I'm gonna do this the rest of my life.
yeah, hell yeah, man. Dude.
It's amazing. I want to be those guys. And then, so of course, like, one memory is like Roskilde. He sends the tribute out to Diamond Vinny, and then tells me to start the song, and we play Slaughtered. That's something.
Hell yeah.
I'll never forget that one. Or when we're playing Strength Beyond Strength, and he goes to solo, and he's, remember at the whiskey, he walks over, puts his arm around me while I'm doing the strength solo. You can't. There's no dollar amount. There's no words you can put to that. It's just so, deep and full circle and all the things,
Yeah.
And we're trying to get too fanboy with our guy, but you know what I mean. It's like there's no getting around that.
Nah, you're only human, man. I mean, fuck.
There's no getting around it. Like that stuff is my foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so to be able to do that with him is pretty special. And if we don't get to ever do it again, it's okay. We've done it enough. And now we're doing something. Standing on its own 2 feet and is original. Which is even, for me, it's even more special, to be honest. Not to take away from the previous experience. Obviously, that is what it is. I've said what it is, but I almost appreciate what we're doing now more. But I'm kind of like that. I'm that guy. I like the authenticity, and I also like the little things. I like. Like when we go down to jam, like I just like, sometimes it'd be like just the boys hanging out on the back porch, listening to some jams and talking shit. That's my favorite part.
Hell yeah.
Even more so than playing the show and all the other, I almost like that more than the other stuff. Just that we're a solid unit and we're friends and that part, man, I like that part a lot.
That's what it's all about, dude. And yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing about the Pantera thing, and then I'll drop it, man. But like, yeah, man, when those fucking records came out, man, when I was a kid, I remember Cowboys from Hell and Vulgar Display of Power. Just hearing that fucking guitar tone, it was just so fucking different from anything else that had been out ever. Like, it was so tight and so fucking heavy, man. We were just obsessed with it, man. I remember all my friends, like all of us, that's all we'd ever talk about, man. And then when we got to go see them live, yeah, man. And then after the tragedy that happened, man, I've got a huge fucking Dimebag tattoo on my leg, man. I got a fucking Dimebag guitar sitting right behind me in the studio. I'm all about it, dude. But but what you say about like hanging out and just fucking being friends and being able to fucking shoot the shit and stuff like that too, like, that is for me, like doing what I do, like with the festival and with the radio and PR and all that stuff. The funnest, the best part of all of it to me is whenever we're down there hanging out with all the bands, just shooting the shit, like what you said, man, just hanging out, eating barbecue, drinking beers, just talking shit. That's like the best fucking part about it, man. Like just the
I mean the spectacle's cool, but it's just like the camaraderie and like the like minds and all that stuff is the best. I love it. Yeah. Like I don't know. We played like Misery Index, like played Hellfest. It's like, killer, fucking Hellfest, biggest fucking festival on the planet. It's huge. But like Down was playing too, and and we missed them, and so we were late, fights and shit. But yeah, dude, there was a moment like we obviously were in a band with Philip, so we like ran over there, and so it's like us. It's like at me, Adam, and the Down guys like out in the lawn watching Judas Priest. I'm just like, this is the most amazing shit. Well, seeing Living After Midnight and shit. Like
hell yeah,
breaking the law and shit. Like feels like get his fist in your face, breaking the law. Like, all right. Amazing.
That's badass, dude. Badass, man. Well,
yeah, that's the really memorable stuff, I think. Yeah.
So what about Misery Index, man? What's going on with that?
Well, it was just Adam and I just had a little pre-production session yesterday. Got about 8 jams, and we were like, rounding in on being done, and we're just kind of like honing in. We got one that's like the album opener, and we're really like honing in on that one right now. It's pretty fucking cool. I got a fairly unique approach to the songwriting this time around. A lot more punk influence and a lot more like melodic and harmonic like tapestries. I guess I'd call it that. And I don't know how much else I could describe it. You've heard maybe something similar with like Tragedy. You've probably heard something similar. That's a punk band. If you didn't know, but probably heard something similar with like the more like stacked parts of like Edge of Sanity, like in Crimson 1, and Crimson 2, and like one heavy bit of unlikely inspiration comes out of a conversation I had with the guitar player of a black metal band called Yellow Eyes. My homie, local here, there was like a festival called Dismal Niche, and like he had Yellow Eyes play in this like Masonic church. Oh, it's the square with a pyramid on top, and it was like evil as shit and awesome. But like I was talking to the guitar player because they don't play fast, and it's not super fast, but like there's these guitar harmonies that are like very like, it sounds like, I talked to him about this, and his words I believe were like, it's like a Slavic music box. So it's, if you can imagine that, it's like almost like a Rubik's cube of fucking guitar harmonies,
That sounds fascinating, man.
Kind of moving around, and I was like, oh man, it's fascinating. I was like, and so I kind of took that approach to heart. Like, that's a cool thing to strive for. Like, get the song to where you're like, you can have a part that does stuff. It doesn't sound like their stuff, but it's like, it's when you're just thinking in that way, Anyway, I got one jam that's like very much like that, and the other one, like the other jams, like they're quite different and touch upon that sort of concept, like referencing a bigger soundscape kind of thing, but using just guitars and bass.
Oh yeah. Well,
and then like incorporating that punk stuff, that punk kind of thing, where it's like that's supposed to be ignorant and dumb, right? It's punk.
Yeah.
So then you mix that with something that's, we'll call it, for lack of a better term, like classical music inspired. So you got these like opposing, conflicting contexts, but there they are, existing together. It's cool, and it works.
Hell yeah. Well, definitely keep us in the loop, man, about Misery Index, man. When you guys have some shit ready to go out, fucking hit us up, man. We'll get you on again for that too, man.
Yeah. We'll be doing it next year, bro.
Hell yeah, dude.
Not sure when, but we'll be doing it next year, absolutely.
Maybe we'll get you guys down here to Tennessee sometime too, man. Fuck.
That'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
Tennessee's a beautiful state, man.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Well, I guess I'm about out of questions for you, Mark. Is there anything else you want to let the people know? Like, what's coming up next for you guys with Scour? Do you have, you got some big dates coming up, some festival appearances and shit.
Yeah, we're working on some stuff we can't talk about, but Milwaukee Metal Fest is coming up.
Hell yeah.
Sunday, May 18th. Down is also playing that weekend. And as is John's band, Nest. I think they're playing on Friday. And the Gold album is out now on Nuclear Blast in the rest of the world and House Score in North America. And you can pick that up. And, go check it out.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Where's the best place for people to go to buy merch and music and stuff like that?
In North America, you'd go to Night Shift. That's the Scour merch store. It's in our link in bio on the Instagram, so you can find it there. Also directly from Housecore Records in North America. We have plenty of stuff ready for you there too. Gold cassettes, and vinyl, and CD, and shirts and stuff. If you're in Europe, then all that kind of goes through Nuclear Blast.
Oh yeah. Right on, dude. Well, before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick?
Sure, man.
All right, whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Mark from Scour, and you are listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
Yo, this is Mark from Scour, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah. All right, man. Dude, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, man. I really appreciate it, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to blast some more Scour for these motherfuckers so they go crazy, all right?
Hell yeah. Blast off, man.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later, brother.
All right, see ya.
Cheers. There you have it, folks. Scour live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking Radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your neighbor's driveway. Do whatever you got to do, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, what the fuck are you doing, man? Crank it the fuck up. Loud as a fuck. This is Coin featuring Gary Holt on fucking lead guitar, man. Check this out.